The small town of Millbrook had never seen anything like it before. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, a strange light appeared in the distance. At first, the few people still out on the streets thought it was a plane or maybe a satellite. But as it grew closer, they realized it was something entirely different. The object was disc-shaped, about the size of a house, and it glowed with an eerie blue light. It moved silently through the air, defying all known laws of physics. As it approached the outskirts of town, people began to gather, their faces a mix of awe and fear. Among the onlookers was Alex Thompson, a 23-year-old mechanic who had lived in Millbrook his entire life. He watched with wide eyes as the UFO, for that's what it clearly was, descended slowly into an empty field just beyond the last houses of the town. "This can't be real," Alex muttered to himself, but he couldn't tear his eyes away from the scene. The craft touched down gently, the blue glow fading as it settled on the ground. For a few moments, nothing happened. The crowd held its breath, waiting to see what would emerge from the alien ship. Suddenly, a section of the craft's smooth surface slid open, revealing a doorway. A figure appeared in the opening, backlit by a soft white light from inside the ship. As it stepped out into the field, gasps rippled through the crowd. The alien was humanoid in shape, but there was no mistaking it for human. It was tall and slender, with skin that seemed to shimmer like mother of pearl. Its large, almond-shaped eyes were a deep violet color, and its head was hairless and slightly elongated. But the most surprising thing was that the alien appeared to be female. She wore a form-fitting suit that looked like it was made of liquid silver, and she moved with a grace that seemed almost supernatural. As the alien took a few steps away from her craft, the onlookers began to murmur among themselves. Some wanted to run, others wanted to approach. But before anyone could decide what to do, something unexpected happened. The alien girl suddenly stumbled, her graceful movements becoming unsteady. She raised a hand to her head, as if dizzy, and then collapsed onto the grass. For a moment, no one moved. Then Alex, driven by an impulse he couldn't explain, broke away from the crowd and started running towards the fallen alien. "Hey!" someone shouted. "What are you doing?" But Alex didn't stop. He reached the alien girl and knelt beside her. Up close, she looked even more otherworldly, but also strangely vulnerable. Her eyes were closed, and her chest rose and fell with shallow breaths. "Are you okay?" Alex asked, not sure if she could even understand him. He reached out hesitantly and touched her arm. Her skin was cool and smooth, unlike anything he had ever felt before. At his touch, the alien girl's eyes fluttered open. She looked at Alex, and he felt as if those violet eyes were peering into his very soul. She opened her mouth and spoke, her voice melodious, but with an odd, echoing quality. "Help me," she said, in perfect English. Alex's heart raced. He looked back at the crowd, which had begun to edge closer, then at the unconscious alien. He made a split-second decision. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm going to help you." With that, he scooped the alien girl into his arms. She was surprisingly light, almost as if she was hollow inside. Alex stood up, cradling her against his chest, and turned to face the approaching crowd. "She needs help," he called out. "I'm taking her to my place. Can someone call Dr. Martinez?" The crowd murmured, some in agreement, others in protest. But Alex didn't wait for a consensus. He started walking quickly towards his house, which was thankfully not far from the field. As he walked, he could feel the alien girl's breath against his neck. It was cool, like a gentle breeze. He looked down at her face, marveling at her otherworldly beauty. "What's your name?" he asked softly. Her eyes opened slightly, those violet orbs focusing on his face. "Zara," she whispered, before losing consciousness again. Alex quickened his pace. He didn't know what was wrong with Zara or how to help her, but he knew one thing for certain. His life, and possibly the entire world, had just changed forever. And somehow he was now at the center of it all. As he reached his house, carrying the unconscious alien in his arms, Alex couldn't help but wonder what he had gotten himself into. But deep down, he knew he had made the right choice. Whatever happened next, he was committed to helping Zora. The adventure of a lifetime had just begun. Alex gently laid Zora on his couch, his mind racing with questions. The alien girl looked peaceful in her unconscious state, her pearl-like skin glowing softly in the dim light of his living room. He paced back and forth, unsure of what to do next. A knock on the door made him jump. It was Dr. Martinez, the town's only physician, looking both excited and nervous. "I came as soon as I heard," the doctor said, stepping inside. "Is it true? An actual alien?" Alex nodded, leading him to the couch. "Her name is Zora. She collapsed right after leaving her ship." Dr. Martinez approached Zora cautiously, his medical training battling with his awe. He began to examine her, his movements careful and precise. As the doctor worked, Zora's eyes fluttered open. She looked around, confused at first, then focused on Alex. "You helped me," she said, her voice still carrying that strange, echoing quality. Alex knelt beside her. "Yes, I did. How are you feeling?" Zora tried to sit up but winced. "Weak. I need. What do you need?" Alex asked, eager to help. Zora reached out and touched Alex's hand. The moment their skin made contact, her body seemed to relax, and some color returned to her face. "Human contact," she said, her voice stronger now. "I need human contact to survive." Dr. Martinez and Alex exchanged shocked looks. "What do you mean?" the doctor asked. Zora took a deep breath. "My species, we are symbiotic. We require physical contact with other sentient beings to maintain our life force. Without it, we become inactive." "Inactive," Alex repeated, trying to understand. "Like a deep sleep," Zora explained, "but one we might never wake from." The revelation hung in the air, heavy with implications. Alex felt a mix of emotions: fascination, concern, and a strange sense of responsibility. "How often do you need this contact?" he asked. "Daily," Zora replied. "Even a brief touch can sustain me, but prolonged contact is best." Dr. Martinez scribbled notes furiously. "Fascinating. And does it matter who provides the contact?" Zora shook her head. "Any human will do, but," she glanced at Alex, "there seems to be a stronger connection with some." Alex felt his heart skip a beat. He remembered how Zora had immediately improved when he touched her hand. Just then, another knock came at the door. This time, it was Sheriff Johnson, looking stern. "Alex," he said, "we need to talk about your guest." The sheriff entered, his eyes widening at the sight of Zora. "So it's true," he muttered. Alex quickly explained Zora's situation. The sheriff listened, his expression a mix of disbelief and concern. "This is way above my pay grade," Sheriff Johnson said finally. "I've contacted the state authorities. They're sending a team to investigate." Zora sat up, alarmed. "No, please, I mean no harm. I just need help." The sheriff softened slightly at her obvious distress. "No one's saying you're a threat, miss. But we need to handle this properly." Alex felt protective of Zora. "She needs to stay here," he insisted. "She needs human contact to survive." The sheriff raised an eyebrow. "And you're volunteering for that job?" Before Alex could respond, Zora spoke up. "Please, I promise to cooperate fully with your authorities. But I need to stay with Alex. He makes me feel safe." The room fell silent. Dr. Martinez looked fascinated, the sheriff looked conflicted, and Alex felt a warmth spreading through his chest. Finally, Sheriff Johnson sighed. "All right, she can stay here for now, but I'll be posting deputies outside, and when the state team arrives, we'll need to reevaluate." As the sheriff and doctor prepared to leave, Alex sat next to Zara on the couch. She immediately leaned against him, sighing contentedly. "Thank you," she whispered. Alex smiled, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "You're welcome. We'll figure this out together." As the door closed behind the others, Alex and Zara sat in comfortable silence. Outside, the night was alive with excitement as news of the alien visitors spread through the town. But inside, in the quiet of Alex's living room, a unique bond was forming, one that would change both their lives forever. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity in Millbrook. News of Zara's arrival spread like wildfire, and soon the small town was flooded with curious onlookers, reporters, and government officials. Alex's house became the center of attention, with people constantly driving by to catch a glimpse of the alien girl. Inside, Alex and Zara were trying to adjust to their new reality. Alex had taken time off work to stay with Zara, ensuring she always had the human contact she needed. They spent hours talking, with Zora explaining more about her world and culture. "My planet is called Lumina," she told Alex one afternoon as they sat on the porch. "It's much like Earth, but our technology is more advanced." Alex listened, fascinated. "Why did you come here?" Zora's violet eyes clouded with sadness. "I'm an explorer. We've been observing Earth for a long time, and I volunteered to make first contact. But something went wrong with my ship's systems. I crashed here by accident." As they talked, Alex noticed Zora becoming more animated. Her skin seemed to glow brighter, and her movements became more fluid. It was clear that their interactions were having a positive effect on her. However, not everyone in town was happy about Zora's presence. A small group of protesters had gathered near Alex's house, holding signs with messages like "Aliens go home" and "Protect Earth from invasion." Sheriff Johnson did his best to keep the peace, but tensions were rising. One evening, as Alex and Zara were eating dinner, a rock came crashing through the window. Zara screamed, more startled than hurt. Alex quickly pulled her away from the shattered glass, holding her close. "It's okay," he soothed. "You're safe." But Zara was trembling. "Why do they hate me?" she asked, her voice small and scared. Alex sighed, stroking her back gently. "They're afraid of what they don't understand. But not everyone feels that way. Many people here want to help you." As if to prove his point, there was a knock at the door. It was Mrs. Rodriguez from next door, carrying a freshly baked pie. "I saw what happened," she said, her kind face creased with concern. "I thought you both could use some cheering up." Zara's face lit up at the gesture. "Thank you," she said, reaching out to touch Mrs. Rodriguez's hand in gratitude. The older woman gasped softly as their skin made contact. "Oh my," she said. "That's quite a feeling." Like a little jolt of happiness, Alex watched the interaction with interest. It seemed that Zara's need for human contact wasn't just one way. Humans appeared to benefit from it too. As the days passed, more townspeople began to accept Zara's presence. They were curious about her, asking questions and even offering to help with her daily contact needs. Zara was grateful for their kindness, but she always seemed most comfortable with Alex. One night, as they sat watching the stars from Alex's backyard, Zara turned to him with a serious expression. "Alex," she said softly, "I need to tell you something important." Alex felt his heart race. "What is it?" Zara took a deep breath. "The connection between us, it's growing stronger. On my world, this is how life bonds begin to form." "Life bonds," Alex repeated, unsure what she meant. "It's a deep connection between two beings," Zara explained. "Stronger than what you might call love. It's a joining of life forces." Alex was stunned. He had felt the growing connection between them, but hadn't realized its significance. "What does this mean for us?" he asked. Zara looked into his eyes, her gaze intense. "It means that soon I may not be able to survive without you specifically. And you might start to change." The weight of her words hung in the air between them. Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. He knew that his decision to help Zara had changed his life, but he hadn't realized just how much. As they sat there under the starry sky, both lost in thought about their future, neither of them noticed the black van pulling up down the street. Men in dark suits stepped out, their eyes fixed on Alex's house. The next phase of their adventure was about to begin, and it promised to be even more challenging than the last. The next morning, Alex woke up to the sound of loud knocking on his front door. He quickly got up, making sure Zara was okay in the guest room before heading downstairs. When he opened the door, he found himself face to face with two men in black suits. "Mr. Thompson," one of the men asked, his voice stern. "We're from the National Security Agency. We need to speak with you and the alien immediately." Alex felt his heart race. He had known this day would come, but he hadn't expected it so soon. "Can I see some ID?" he asked, trying to stay calm. The men showed their badges. They looked real. Alex reluctantly let them in, calling out, "Zara, can you come down? We have visitors." Zara appeared at the top of the stairs, her pearl-like skin shimmering in the morning light. The agent's eyes widened at the sight of her. "Hello," Zara said softly, descending the stairs. As she reached the bottom, she instinctively moved closer to Alex, their hands brushing. The touch sent a visible wave of energy through her body. The agents noticed this. "Interesting," one of them muttered, jotting something down in a notebook. "I'm Agent Wilson, and this is Agent Chen," the first man said. "We're here to assess the situation and ensure the safety of both your guest and our citizens." Alex and Zara sat down on the couch, while the agents took seats across from them. Agent Wilson leaned forward, his eyes fixed on Zara. "We understand you need human contact to survive," he said. "Can you explain more about this process?" Zara nodded, her voice steady as she replied. "My species evolved to form symbiotic relationships with other sentient beings. Physical contact allows us to exchange energy, which keeps us alive and healthy." Agent Chen looked skeptical. "And what do humans get out of this exchange?" "Increased vitality, faster healing, improved mood," Zara listed. "But the effects are strongest with a compatible partner." Her eyes flickered to Alex as she said this. He felt a warmth spread through his chest, remembering their conversation about life bonds. The agents exchanged glances. "We'd like to run some tests," Agent Wilson said, "to better understand this process and its effects on humans." Alex felt a surge of protectiveness. "What kind of tests?" he asked, his voice sharp. "Nothing invasive," Agent Chen assured them. "Just some scans and monitoring of your interactions. It's for everyone's safety." Zara touched Alex's arm gently. "It's okay," she said. "I want to cooperate. Maybe this will help them understand I'm not a threat." Reluctantly, Alex agreed. Over the next few hours, the agents set up various machines in the living room. They monitored Alex and Zara's vital signs as they touched, took samples of the energy that seemed to flow between them, and asked countless questions. As the day wore on, Alex noticed something strange. The longer he was in contact with Zara, the more energized he felt. Colors seemed brighter, sounds clearer. He mentioned this to Agent Wilson, who looked intrigued. "It seems the effects on humans are more pronounced than we thought," the agent mused. "This could have significant implications." By evening, the agents had gathered all the data they needed. As they packed up their equipment, Agent Chen turned to Alex and Zara. "We'll need to report our findings to our superiors," he said. "For now, we ask that you both remain here. We'll be in touch soon with next steps." After the agents left, Alex and Zara sat in silence for a while, both processing the day's events. "What do you think will happen now?" Alex finally asked. Zara leaned against him, her cool skin soothing against his. "I don't know," she admitted, "but whatever comes, we'll face it together." As they sat there, Alex realized something had changed. The connection between them felt stronger than ever. He could almost sense Zora's thoughts and emotions, as if they were becoming one. Outside, the sun was setting, casting a golden glow over Millbrook. In houses all over town, people were discussing the alien visitor and what her presence might mean for their future. But in Alex's living room, two beings from different worlds were finding a connection that transcended species. The journey they had begun was far from over. In fact, it was only just beginning. As the days passed, Alex and Zora's bond grew stronger. They found themselves finishing each other's sentences, sensing each other's moods, and even sharing dreams. The changes in Alex became more noticeable too. His reflexes were quicker, his mind sharper, and small cuts and bruises healed almost instantly. One morning, as they sat having breakfast, Alex looked up from his coffee with a start. "Zora," he said, his voice filled with wonder, "I think I just heard your thoughts." Zora's violet eyes widened. "I felt it too," she whispered. "Our life bond is progressing faster than I expected." Their moment of awe was interrupted by a commotion outside. They'd rushed to the window to see a crowd gathering in the street. At the center was a man holding a megaphone, his face red with anger. "We demand that the alien leave our town," he shouted. "She's changing our people. This isn't natural." Alex recognized the man as Mr. Parker, the owner of the local hardware store. He had always been wary of outsiders, but this level of hostility was new. "We should talk to them," Zora said, her voice calm despite the tension. "Help them understand." Alex hesitated, worried for her safety, but he knew she was right. They stepped out onto the porch, facing the crowd. Some people backed away, while others pressed closer, curious. "Please," Zora began, her melodic voice carrying across the lawn. "I mean you no harm. I'm here by accident, but I want to learn from you and share what I know." Mr. Parker scoffed. "And what about him?" He pointed at Alex. "Look at him. He's changing. You're infecting our people." Alex stepped forward. "I'm not infected," he said firmly. "I'm evolving. Zora's presence is helping me unlock human potential we never knew existed." A murmur ran through the crowd. Some looked intrigued, others frightened. Just as the tension seemed ready to boil over, Sheriff Johnson's police car pulled up, siren blaring. "All right, folks," the sheriff called out as he stepped from his car. "Let's break this up. We don't want any trouble." As the crowd began to disperse, Agent Wilson's black van appeared down the street. He and Agent Chen quickly approached Alex and Zora. "We need you both to come with us," Agent Wilson said, his tone urgent. "There's been a development." Nervously, Alex and Zora followed the agents to a makeshift command center set up in the town hall. Inside, screens displayed news reports from around the world. Alex's jaw dropped as he saw the headlines. Alien sightings reported globally. Strange lights in the sky. Invasion or first contact. World leaders call for calm as UFO reports surge. Agent Chen turned to them, his face grave. "It seems Zora wasn't the only one who came to Earth. We've detected multiple landings across the planet. Some peaceful, others not so much." Zora gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "No," she whispered. "This can't be happening." "What is it?" Alex asked, feeling her distress through their bond. "My people, we're not united," Zora explained, her voice shaking. "There are factions. Some believe in peaceful coexistence, like me. Others, they see other species as resources to be used." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth was caught in the middle of an alien conflict, with humanity's fate hanging in the balance. Agent Wilson leaned forward, his eyes intense. "We need your help," he said to Zora. "You're our best chance at understanding what we're dealing with and how to protect ourselves." Alex felt a surge of determination through his bond with Zora. He knew, without her having to say it, that she would do whatever it took to help protect Earth, her new home. "We'll do whatever we can," Alex said, speaking for both of them. As they began to plan, Alex realized that the adventure that had started in his small town had now become a global event. The bond between him and Zara, once a personal miracle, might now be the key to humanity's survival. Outside, the sky darkened as more ships appeared on the horizon. The next chapter of Earth's history was about to be written, and Alex and Zara would be at the heart of it all. The following days were a blur of activity. Alex and Zara found themselves at the center of a global crisis, working tirelessly with world leaders and scientists to prepare for what was coming. Through their strengthening bond, Zara was able to tap into a vast network of information from her home planet, Lumina. She explained to the human leaders that her people, the Luminarians, were divided into two main factions: the Harmonizers, who sought peaceful coexistence with other species, and the Harvesters, who saw other worlds as resources to be exploited. The ships we're seeing, Zara said during a tense meeting at the United Nations, are likely a mix of both factions. We need to be careful how we respond. Alex, standing by her side, could feel the weight of responsibility on Zara's shoulders. He squeezed her hand reassuringly, and a ripple of energy passed between them, visible to everyone in the room. General Martinez, the head of Earth's newly formed Alien Response Unit, leaned forward. How do we tell them apart? How do we defend ourselves against the Harvesters? Zara closed her eyes, concentrating. Alex felt a surge of information flow through their bond. The Harvester's ships have a distinct energy signature, she said, opening her eyes. I can help you calibrate your sensors to detect them. As Zara worked with the scientists, Alex found himself becoming an unexpected diplomat. His unique position as a human bonded to a Luminarian made him a bridge between the two species. One evening, as they took a rare moment of rest, Alex turned to Zara. I've been thinking, he said slowly. What if we could show the Harvesters the benefits of our bond? Maybe if they understood, they wouldn't want to exploit us. Zara's eyes lit up. Alex, that's brilliant. A demonstration of human Luminarian symbiosis might change everything. They brought their idea to the world leaders. It was risky, but with time running out and Harvester ships positioning themselves around the planet, they were willing to try anything. A plan was formed. Alex and Zara would broadcast a message to all the Luminarian ships, demonstrating their bond and inviting peaceful contact. But as they prepared, a new complication arose. Alex, Zara said one morning, her voice filled with concern, I'm picking up distress signals from the Harmonizer ships. The Harvesters are attacking them. Without hesitation, Alex knew what they had to do. We need to help them, he said firmly. Using the advanced technology provided by Earth's governments, combined with Zora's knowledge, they managed to create a protective energy field around the friendly Luminarian ships. The Harvesters, caught off guard by this unexpected resistance, pulled back temporarily. It was the opening they needed. Alex and Zara stepped onto a specially prepared platform, surrounded by cameras that would broadcast their message across the globe and into space. As they stood there, hand in hand, Alex felt a surge of emotions, fear, hope, love, flowing between them. He looked into Zora's violet eyes and saw the same feelings reflected back at him. People of Earth and visitors from Lumina. Alex began, his voice strong and clear. We stand before you as proof that our species can not only coexist, but thrive together. Zora continued, the bond we share enhances both of us. It represents the best of both our worlds. As they spoke, the energy between them began to glow, growing brighter and brighter. Those watching, both on Earth and in the ships above, gasped in awe at the beautiful display. We invite you to join us, they said in unison, their voices blending harmoniously, to explore the potential of peace and mutual growth. The energy surrounding them pulsed outward, washing over the viewers. Humans reported feeling a sense of warmth and connection, while the Luminarians experienced a taste of the rich emotions that made humans unique. As their message concluded, there was a moment of tense silence. Then, one by one, the harvester ships began to power down their weapons. Communication channels burst to life as luminarians from both factions expressed their desire for peaceful contact. Alex and Zara looked at each other, breathless with relief and joy. They had done it. The crisis wasn't over. There would be much work ahead to build trust and understanding between their peoples, but they had taken the first crucial step. As celebrations erupted around the world, Alex pulled Zara close. "What happens now?" he asked softly. Zara smiled, her eyes shining with hope. "Now," she said, "we build the future together, all of us." The dawn of a new era had begun, with Alex and Zara's unique bond lighting the way forward. 5 years had passed since the day Alex and Zara's bond had changed the course of human and luminarian history. The small town of Millbrook, once an ordinary dot on the map, had become a symbol of interstellar cooperation. On a warm summer evening, Alex stood on the porch of his house, now a historic landmark, watching as humans and luminarians mingled in the street. Children of both species played together, their laughter filling the air. It was a sight that still filled him with wonder. Zara appeared beside him, her pearl-like skin glowing softly in the twilight. Their bond had continued to grow stronger over the years, to the point where they rarely needed words to communicate. "Thinking about how much has changed?" Zara asked, though she already knew the answer. Alex nodded, pulling her close. "It's amazing," he said. "Sometimes I still can't believe it's real." Their peaceful moment was interrupted by a familiar voice. "Uncle Alex." Aunt Zora, a young girl, about 4 years old, came running up the path. She had Alex's dark hair and Zora's violet eyes, a perfect blend of both species. "Luna," Zora said warmly, bending down to scoop up their daughter. "What have you been up to?" Luna grinned, showing off a missing tooth. "I was playing with Kira and Zeph," she said, pointing to her human and luminarian friends. "We're learning to share energy." Alex and Zora exchanged proud glances. Luna was part of the first generation of human-luminarian hybrids, born from the deep bonds that had formed between the two species. These children were living proof of the potential that lay in cooperation and understanding. As the sun set, the town gathered in the central square for the annual Unity Festival. Alex, as the town's mayor, a position he still found surreal, stepped up to the podium to give a speech. 5 years ago, he began, his voice carrying across the attentive crowd. "Our world changed forever. We faced fear and uncertainty, but we also discovered hope and connection beyond anything we had imagined." He gestured to the crowd, where humans and luminarians stood side by side. "Look around you. See the friendships, the families, the love that has grown between our peoples. This is the future we chose, a future of harmony and mutual growth." As Alex spoke, he felt a surge of emotion through his bond with Zora. He turned to see her wiping away a tear, and he knew she was remembering their journey, from her crash landing to the moment they had broadcast their message of peace to the stars. "But our work is not done," Alex continued. "There are still challenges to face, both on Earth and across the galaxy. But I believe that together, there's nothing we cannot overcome." The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. As Alex stepped down, he was immediately surrounded by well-wishers, human, luminarian, and hybrid alike. Later that night, as the festival wound down, Alex and Zara stood on a hill overlooking the town. Luna had fallen asleep in Alex's arms, tired out from the excitement of the day. "Do you ever regret it?" Alex asked softly. "Staying here, choosing this life?" Zara turned to him, her violet eyes shining with love. "Never," she said firmly. "This is where I belong. With you, with Luna, with our community." As if to emphasize her point, a shooting star streaked across the sky. But it wasn't a star. It was a luminarian ship, coming in for a landing at the newly built spaceport just outside of town. Another group of exchanges, Alex noted. The program that allowed humans and luminarians to visit each other's worlds had been a huge success, furthering understanding between the species. Zara nodded, a smile playing on her lips. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll take Luna to visit Lumina. Alex grinned at the thought. I'd like that, he said. But for now, I'm happy right here. As they stood there, a family united by love that transcended species, Alex marveled at the journey that had brought them to this point. From a chance encounter with an alien girl who needed human contact to survive, to becoming the catalyst for a new era of interstellar peace and cooperation. The future was bright, full of possibilities they had yet to imagine. And whatever challenges lay ahead, Alex knew that together, with Zara, with Luna, with their entire blended community, they would face them head-on, continuing to build a world where differences were celebrated and bonds of love and friendship knew no boundaries. As the stars twinkled overhead, Alex, Zara, and Luna headed home, ready to embrace whatever adventures tomorrow might bring.